Hi guys, welcome to our journey through the quirky world of American taboos. What are taboos, you ask? Taboos are social or cultural prohibitions. They are the no-go zones of behavior, topics, or practices that are off limits within a particular society. And every culture has its own set of unique taboos. Today, we will delve into America's landscape of taboos, uncovering 10 fascinating prohibitions that might surprise you. Now, it's important to remember that taboos are not always rooted in logic or reason. They often stem from deep-seated beliefs, superstitions, or historical customs. They can be as ancient as the societies themselves or as recent as yesterday's pop culture phenomenon. But one thing is certain, they offer an intriguing glimpse into the collective psyche and cultural identity of a society. American culture is a rich tapestry of diverse influences and traditions. As a result, its taboos are equally varied and fascinating. From superstitions that make people avoid the number 13 to social norms that discourage discussing personal salaries, these prohibitions reflect the complex interplay of history, culture, and belief that shape American society. And then there are the more whimsical taboos, like not saying Voldemort out loud, a nod to the cultural impact of literature and pop culture, or the childhood rhyme of step on a crack, break your mother's back, leading to generations of Americans cautiously avoiding sidewalk cracks. So, are you ready to dive into the world of American taboos? Remember, these are not rules set in stone, but rather shared beliefs and practices that carry a certain weight within the society. They are the silent guidelines that often govern behavior, the unspoken rules that everyone seems to know. And as we explore them, you might find yourself questioning your own cultural norms and taboos. So buckle up, keep an open mind, and join us on this fascinating exploration of American taboos. Let's get started with our first American taboo. Chocowos, our first taboo, revolves around the number 13. Now you might be thinking, what's so scary about a number? But in the United States, the number 13 carries a heavy load of superstition. It's not uncommon to see buildings skipping the 13th floor, going straight from 12 to 14. And if you're boarding an airplane, don't be surprised if there's no Row 13 waiting for you. But where does this fear come from? Well, it's believed to originate from ancient times when the number was associated with death and the afterlife. Fast forward to the present day, and this ancient superstition has seeped into modern American culture, becoming a social norm. Many people, even those who don't consider themselves superstitious, find themselves unconsciously avoiding the number 13. It's just part of the cultural fabric, a silent agreement among the masses that it's better to be safe than sorry. But it's not all doom and gloom. Some people embrace the number 13, seeing it as a symbol of rebellion or a chance to challenge societal norms. So whether you choose to avoid or embrace the number 13, it's a fascinating example of how ancient beliefs can shape modern culture. So next time you're in America, you might want to skip the 13th row. Awesome. The second taboo on our list is all about money. Yes, you heard it right. In American culture, it's considered a faux pas to discuss salaries openly. This social norm is so deeply ingrained that many of us don't even realize it's there. It's like an invisible barrier that keeps us from asking how much do you earn or disclosing our own income. This taboo isn't just about politeness or propriety. It's rooted in the societal norms surrounding privacy and personal finances. Americans value their personal space and privacy, and this extends to their financial matters. Talking about money can be seen as a breach of that personal space, making it a sensitive topic. But where did this taboo come from? Well, it's hard to pin down an exact origin. but it's likely a product of our history and culture. The American dream, the idea that anyone can achieve success through hard work and determination, is a powerful narrative in our society. It encourages self-reliance and individual achievement. And discussing salaries might be seen as comparing or judging these personal achievements. The implications of this taboo are far-reaching, from creating a culture of secrecy around wages to potentially hampering wage transparency and equality. So remember, when in America, it's best to avoid asking someone about their salary. Bafakmut, our third taboo is a bit of a tongue twister. We're talking about jinxing, a fascinating American custom that is deeply rooted in superstition. Now, you might be wondering, what does it mean to jinx something? Well, in American culture, jinxing is typically associated with tempting fate. It's often invoked when someone makes a prediction about an unfortunate event or outcome. The idea is that by voicing out a possible negative scenario, you might inadvertently cause it to happen. Here's where the term jinx comes in. If a person predicts something bad, they often follow it up by saying jinx. It's a way of counteracting the potential bad luck they may have just invited. But where did this practice originate from? The term jinx is believed to have roots in ancient times, specifically in Greek mythology. A bird called the Ainx, also known as the jinx bird in modern spelling, was used in love rituals and was often regarded as a harbinger of love and relationships. Over time, the significance of the bird evolved, and the term jinx came to be associated with bad luck and misfortune. So the next time you make a prediction about something unfortunate, remember to say jinx right after. It's a quintessential part of American culture, a small but fascinating custom that many believe helps ward off bad luck. So don't forget to say jinx after making a prediction. Our fourth taboo is a knock on wood. Now, this might seem odd, but it's a common practice in American culture when people want to ward off bad luck or prevent a positive outcome from being jinxed. You'll often hear someone say something optimistic and immediately follow it up with knock on wood, accompanied by a literal knock on a wooden surface. This interesting custom is not exclusive to America, though. It's believed to have roots in ancient pagan traditions where trees were thought to be the homes of various spirits and gods. By knocking on the tree, one was effectively communicating with these entities, asking for protection or warding off evil. However, in the American context, the practice has evolved over centuries and now stands as a symbolic gesture rather than a literal communication with nature spirits. It's become so ingrained in day-to-day conversations that often, even in the absence of actual wood, people will still knock on any available surface while saying the phrase. Whether it's a superstition or a casual cultural habit, knocking on wood is a fascinating aspect of American culture. It's a small but meaningful way people express their hopes, fears, and acknowledgement of unpredictable fate. So, when in America, don't forget to knock on wood. You never know, it might just keep the misfortune at bay. Or, at the very least, it will make you feel a part of a centuries-old tradition. Nos, our fifth taboo involves a common household item. Now imagine this, you're about to step out and it's pouring rain. You grab your umbrella, but just as you're about to open it, you remember you're still indoors. Sounds familiar? This is because the act of opening an umbrella indoors is considered a taboo in American culture. It's believed to bring bad luck, a superstition that's widely recognized, although not everyone strictly adheres to it. Even so, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who's not familiar with this belief. The origins of this superstition are somewhat murky, but one theory suggests it dates back to ancient times when umbrellas were used as protection from the sun. opening one indoors was seen as an insult to the sun god, inviting his wrath. Another explanation points to the Victorian era. Back then, the mechanisms of umbrellas were quite different, and opening one indoors could cause damage or even injure someone nearby. Over time, this practical concern may have evolved into a superstition. Regardless of its origins, this taboo has found its way into the fabric of American culture, influencing behaviors and sparking interesting conversations. It serves as a reminder of the fascinating ways in which everyday objects can be imbued with meaning and symbolism. So, remember to keep your umbrella closed indoors. Better safe than sorry, right? Our sixth taboo is all about the night. A hush descends as we delve into the intriguing world of nocturnal taboos. Whistling at night, an activity seemingly innocent, is in fact frowned upon in certain parts of America. This curious tradition is deeply rooted in folklore and superstition and has been passed down through generations. Believed to attract the attention of wandering spirits, whistling after sundown is considered an open invitation for the supernatural. The origins of this belief are somewhat nebulous, with theories ranging from ancient superstitions about nighttime being the realm of the unknown, to more modern interpretations involving the eerie, echoing sound of a lone whistle in the dark. Strangely enough, this taboo isn't limited to American culture. Variations of this superstition exist worldwide, from Eastern Europe to parts of Asia, suggesting a more universal fear of the dark and the unknown. In essence, what this taboo reflects is a deep-seated human instinct, a primal fear of the night and what it might conceal. Whistling, a sound that can pierce the silence and travel far, is seen as a beacon for those things we fear and cannot see. So, the next time you find yourself in the quiet of the night, remember this peculiar piece of American folklore. Whether you believe in spirits or not, it's an interesting piece of cultural trivia to keep in mind. So, don't whistle in the dark. Our seventh taboo is straight out of a book. Yes, you heard it right. It's all about not uttering Voldemort, a name that sends shivers down the spines of many, thanks to the phenomenal success of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. This might seem like a playful superstition, but it actually reflects a deeper aspect of American culture. The taboo of saying Voldemort showcases how literature and pop culture can significantly influence societal norms and behaviors. This is a fascinating example of how fictional works can weave their magic into the fabric of real-life customs and beliefs. The name Voldemort comes from the Harry Potter series, where it is associated with fear and evil. In the books, characters often refer to him as "he who must not be named" or "you know who," instead of uttering his actual name. This practice stems from the belief that saying his name could invoke his presence or bring bad luck. The impact of this taboo is quite evident in American society. For instance, during everyday conversations, parties, or even online discussions, people often avoid saying Voldemort and instead use the euphemisms popularized by the books. This demonstrates the powerful influence of popular culture on societal norms and how it can shape our behaviors and beliefs. So remember, he who must not be named. Our eighth taboo involves a common tool. Yes, we're referring to ladders. Now, you might think of ladders as harmless objects useful for reaching high places, but in American culture, they're often seen as carriers of bad luck. Specifically, it's walking under a ladder that's said to bring misfortune. This superstition is deeply ingrained in American society. It's so prevalent that even those who don't consider themselves superstitious may find themselves avoiding this action. It's one of those unwritten rules that many adhere to, like not opening an umbrella indoors or avoiding the number 13. So, Where did this superstition come from? The origins of this belief can be traced back to ancient times. In ancient Egypt, a ladder leaning against a wall was seen as a symbol of death and the afterlife. It formed a triangle, which Egyptians considered a sacred shape. Meanwhile, in Christian tradition, a ladder resting against a wall was associated with the Holy Trinity. Walking through it was seen as breaking the Trinity, an act considered blasphemous. While these beliefs may sound far-fetched to some, they've held on through the centuries, shaping societal norms and influencing behavior. So, the next time you see a ladder, whether you're superstitious or not, you may find yourself taking the long way around. So, avoid walking under ladders when you're in America. Our last taboo is right under your feet. It's a part of American culture that finds its roots deep in childhood play. We're talking about the simple act of not stepping on cracks. This superstition, seemingly innocuous, has had quite the grip on American minds for generations. You may remember the familiar rhyme, "Step on a crack, break your mother's back." As children, many of us would hop and skip over sidewalk cracks, careful not to land on one. As adults, while we may not jump around as much, some still find themselves instinctively avoiding these lines in the pavement. Why, you ask? This quirky taboo is a blend of superstition, tradition, and a good dose of childhood fun. The origins are a bit murky, but it's generally believed to have sprung from Old English and Scottish folklore, where stepping on a boundary line was thought to let evil spirits in. In the American context, the rhyme and the superstition it carries have been passed down through generations from the schoolyard to the adult world. It's more than just a game. It's a cultural imprint that speaks to the human tendency to find patterns and assign meaning where there might be none. So the next time you find yourself on a walk, take a moment to notice how you navigate those concrete cracks. Are you stepping over them, or do you tread without concern? Either way, this simple act is a small yet telling part of the American cultural tapestry. So, remember to watch your step in America.